Her triumphs. I took a group of women that didn't believe in themselves, and I just believed in them. Her trials.
I never wanted to go to practice. I was losing a ton of weight.
Her story.
I just put my faith in God and just trusted the system.
Her why.
I want people to see what I did and say, oh, that's so awesome. I'm going to be better than that. That would be how I hope that this journey ends.
This is Her Why, where we tell the stories from BYU women's sports. Here is your host, Lauren McLean.
All right, we're here with Laveni and Daviana Vaka. You girls, thank you so much for being here with me.
Thanks for having us, Lauren.
You guys are incredible. I'm so excited for this interview. All right, first question I want to know, who was born first?
I was born first by like 2 minutes, but we didn't know who was the oldest for 18 years.
Yeah.
Till we graduated high school. My mom kept it a secret and got like our family member siblings all on board. She used to say like C-section, we came up exactly at the same time. So then we finally found out at our graduation party, our high school graduation party.
What was your guys' reaction when you found out? That was Laveni, by the way, that said she was born 2 minutes earlier. What was your reaction when you finally found out? Were you a little disappointed? Were you excited?
I was excited. Like deep down, like literally I told my sisters, I was like deep down, like I feel it in my bones that I am the oldest.
Yeah.
I don't know how you felt.
I mean, I knew that I was the youngest. I was spoiled growing up. And then I just knew they
You just
babied me a
felt
lot
like the
growing up.
baby.
Yeah.
You just felt
And,
younger.
Like the way that we both carry ourselves is very different. Everyone says she's more mature and stuff. So
That's hilarious. Okay, so your names are just absolutely gorgeous, by the way, Laveni and Daviana. Are there any special meanings to your names?
So my mom has 4 brothers, and she split 2 names to each one of us. So my uncle, one of them is named Lava, Uncle Lava, and then the next one is Veni. So she combined it into Laveni.
yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
So that's mine,
super cool.
and then hers was.
And then my first part of the name, Davi, but Davy or Davy, but my uncle's name is David, so she took the first part of that, and then the second one is Anna,
Faka
and
Anna.
so Uncle Faka Anna, yeah,
Oh my
So
gosh.
Daviana.
super unique. I don't know how she came up with that, but
That's impressive because a lot of times when people trend like combined names, you're like, that sounds terrible.
Yeah,
Like,
that was actually pretty unique. I'm like,
she did an incredible
Shocked.
job. Those are some
Yeah.
just beautiful names. So do you guys go by any nicknames?
I go by Lava.
Okay.
and then I go by Davi.
Do the girls on the soccer team call you those names?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's way cool.
Yeah.
I love that. Daviana, you guys have 5 other siblings. Where do you guys fit in the family?
I'm the very youngest, and then I'm the 8th child,
Yeah.
and then Lava's the
7th.
7th.
Okay. I love that. I love that there's an order. Okay. That's so cool. Not like you're both at the same time.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about your family and your mom. Like, how has your mom inspired you in your life?
My mom, so growing up, she raised us as a single mom. And when we were 8, she just chose to take me, Daviana, and then the next one above us to St. George. So we lived there for a while. And she's a really hard worker. She worked super hard to get us to where we are today. She made a lot of sacrifices as a single mom. There's a lot of times where she had to figure out where to put money, like soccer or save it and stuff. And so she's made a lot of hard decisions. And we just talked about it recently, just how far we've come and how blessed like I feel to be in this position and how hard we've worked to get here. And my mom just expressed, she was just like, it wasn't hard just for you. Like, it's been hard for me as well. And a lot of people have helped us get to where we are today. And so we just feel super blessed and just happy to be where we are today. And then my siblings as well have helped. Yeah. What do you
I
think?
think Lava and I think we're known for being very gritty on the team. We're very aggressive. I think we get that hard-working aspect from our mom. And then just all her sacrifices, like she inspires us to do well and always show up for our community and our culture. You know, Lava and I really hope to be the first Tongan professional soccer players. And so she just inspires us a lot to do all those things.
So dang cool.
Mhm.
You guys really are an inspiration. I can't imagine how awesome your mom must be. How many boys and how many girls in your family?
7
7
girls,
girls.
1 boy.
7 girls,
Yeah,
1
and
boy.
our brother falls exactly in the dead
In the
center.
middle.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow. That's really funny because I come from a family of 6 girls and 1 boy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
And my brother's the 5th. Yeah. So we've always felt that way too. We're like, you spoil it.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But I mean, of course you would, right?
Mhm.
So was your family athletic? Were all of you athletic growing up?
Oh yeah, for sure. Our some of our siblings, they played basketball, volleyball. Basketball was like their main sport, but they were all really good. Our brother played football and he was really talented. And our dad is really tall too, so we get our height from our dad.
How tall are the both of you, by the way?
5'6" on a good day.
5'8".
Okay.
5'8".
All right.
Yeah, so
Taller.
our family's pretty athletic. There's like we didn't have anyone like go to college or anything, and my mom actually decided to just throw us into soccer. Soccer was definitely a new sport for the family, and she was like, the youngest just happened to be the best. So
Yeah.
So was it something she recognized in you too? Like, okay, they're fast. They're,
yeah, when we were first put onto like a AYSO soccer club, the coach was actually like, hey, they're like pretty good. And so once that club team broke up, he took us over to a different competitive team. And so that's kind of where I think she recognized like, okay, like they're actually pretty good. Let's just stick with it.
Yeah. Well, we in St. George is when we really kind of went competitive, and then one of the college coaches down there, it was Dixie State at the time, which is now Utah Tech. He was like, I think you need to take your daughters up north, like if you really want them to go places. And so my mom and us, we moved to Salt Lake City, and then we played on a good club team here.
Yeah. So that's just like another thing that my mom sacrificed. We literally picked up from St. George to move to Salt Lake, so we didn't have to keep commuting like 4 hours just for practices. And so
because she wanted you to succeed.
yeah.
That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Laveni, did you guys play any other sports growing up?
Yeah, so we did track and field. We did track and field competitively, Junior Olympics. So we're actually Junior Olympians.
Dang.
Yeah, so we did.
Wow, you guys.
4x100. I think we got 7th place when we were 12 at Junior Olympics. Yeah, and we did the 100, 200, 400. Yeah, I did that in high school for a little bit, but I've always hated track. But I love it now because it has
helped us a lot
built our
in
speed.
soccer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, they kind of go hand in hand. Because I was going to ask you what made you gravitate more towards soccer than track, but you said you didn't like track.
Yeah, I'm like, people are like, but you run like miles on a soccer field. I'm like, okay, but like that's without thinking.
Yeah.
Track and field is like such an individual sport. I'm like, no, like you have to
Yeah.
literally put your mind into it and just go.
Absolutely.
Soccer, it's like you're reacting.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Daviana, what made you gravitate towards soccer?
I guess the same as her. I didn't love it, and I especially don't like that it's an individual sport. I love soccer because there's so many people around us, and it's a team sport. And then, so once we moved from St. George to here, we mainly focused on soccer, and then so people started catching up to our speed in track. And so I wasn't getting like number 1 or 2. So I was like, no, like I hate it. I'm losing. I don't want to do this.
I'm not winning. I'm out.
Yeah. So we just focused on soccer.
Because you were the best at soccer. Was your team really good growing up?
Yeah. We played for Bombers, which is now Heat FC down in St. George, and we went undefeated for a really long time. We went to like nationals, regionals, and then when we were 13, we then moved to Salt Lake. So.
Yeah.
Once your team lost, you're like, all right, it's time to go to Salt Lake. No, I'm just kidding. No, that's cool. All right, Daviana, so you guys have been on the same team together for a long time. What do you love about playing together?
Ooh, I love the competitiveness between us. We're always pushing each other, especially in conditioning wise. We run together like at the very end, so I have just her and no one on the other side of me. Super competitive, and then just being able to help each other. We're very straightforward in practices, on the field, on games and stuff. So I really love that. And then I think it's super unique that we're twins and we're at a D1 college playing on the same team. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, that's incredible. It really is. And Laveni, what was the competition like between you guys growing up, like when you were little?
Growing up when we were little, I don't really feel like we were as competitive, like with each other, more against like our opponents and stuff. There was a little bit of kind of knowing that I was a little bit better than my sister growing up.
I
think everything. And so I never felt that competition until like we've gotten older and she's gotten to like, we're on the same level now. But
so your competitiveness has definitely evolved as you've gotten older, right? You're becoming more competitive as you become on the same level. Yeah. And now you guys are in the same position. Is that right?
Yeah.
Do you push each other competitively in that regard?
Yeah. I mean, I play center back sometimes, which is her main position. And so she is more knowledgeable than me in that position. But
all right, Daviana, what would you say are some of the perks of being twins?
Perks of being twins. I would say borrowing each other's clothes and I guess always having each other's back. It's really funny because in soccer, like some people will dog on Lava, but I'll be like, hey, like don't talk to her like that. And then they just always laugh. They're like, I love how you have your sister's back.
And this is with our teammates.
Yeah.
Like,
It's just always nice to have someone there for each other.
And we're always doing it jokingly.
That's so cool. All right, Daviana, you attended Juan Diego High School, which is a private school in Sandy. Why did you guys choose to attend there specifically?
So we chose to go there because at the time their soccer program was really good. And then the coach for the women's team was a girl that played for our club, and she went to Pepperdine for soccer, which is a top-notch soccer school. And so we went there for soccer, and then the education there is really good. They did like college classes there. We were able to get some college credits there. And I think that was the two main reasons why our mom put us there, was the education and the soccer.
What was that experience like for you being there?
I think for the religion, it was very different. Obviously, they're Catholic and Laveni and Daviana LDS. It was something new for us to adjust and do all those things, but it was fun. It was a good experience. We won state for soccer one year, and then the school was kind of really tough compared to public school, but after I graduated, I realized, I was like, I don't think I could have ever went to public school. Like, I don't think public school would have been for me after that.
And it was super diverse. Like,
very.
Honestly, once we got out of Juan Diego and got to BYU, I was like, whoa, like we are a minority, because at Juan Diego, they're like,
they recruit.
Yeah, you see a lot of African Americans, Indians, Asians. So it was just like,
it was ethnically diverse.
Yeah, very diverse. And so I liked it in that way.
Were most of them Catholic then that attended there?
Yeah, there was a group of LDS people. Like, we definitely knew who were the members of the church. And yeah, there was a Polynesian group as well that were LDS. And yeah, so there was a little group, I guess.
Absolutely. I love that. Laveni, as far as colleges go, what was the recruitment process like for you guys? Who all recruited you, and where do you begin there?
So growing up, I didn't, soccer was just like a sport to me. I didn't really know I was good at it until probably 8th grade. And I was like, whoa, I could actually go get education paid for, go to school for it, and still do something that I love. And when I recognized that in 8th grade, that's kind of when I started getting recruited. And I started getting recruited so in 8th grade, and the colleges that were kind of recruiting were like Penn State, University of Louisville, Baylor, all these big schools. And they weren't looking at both of us. There wasn't really a school that was looking at both of us. BYU and Utah were kind of the only schools that were looking at us both. So in a sense, my mom wanted us to go to the same school, but we didn't really care, individually, if we went separate ways. And I originally didn't want to stay in Utah just because I wanted to get out of Utah.
Yeah.
And then when it came to looking at my options, I was like, okay, I just prayed about BYU and got my answer. And so I committed actually a week before she committed, because she didn't know where she wanted to go.
Yeah.
So you said it was more your mom's idea, that she wanted you two together, but you guys didn't necessarily care. So what was that like for you, Daviana?
I was really set on not going to the same school as her, but as a mother, obviously we could see that she was kind of fearful of what would happen, like going to another state. How would we do? That's all we know is growing up together, but I was open to it. So coming to BYU, getting offered together, it did take me longer to commit, because I was wondering, Lava wants it more. Do I really want to go here? And so it did take me a week. I prayed about it. I was like, you know what? We'll just see where it goes. I'll go here, and have been loving it ever since. So
you kind of took a leap of faith there coming
Oh,
here.
yeah, 100%. It's been great, though.
What was the first thing that stood out to you both when you came to BYU and kind of immersed yourselves in the program?
I think just how welcoming our teammates were. And I feel like that's an expectation, but really, I came into BYU just feeling this overwhelming feeling of gratitude. We weren't active in the church growing up. And so just when I got assigned to come to BYU, I was like, okay, I'm just going to go with it. And I definitely recognize now why I needed to come to BYU. And I still feel that gratitude feeling of just being here, because everything that I've done so far has just been a blessing in disguise.
So neat. What about for you, Daviana?
I would say I think the whole student athlete experience, because Lava and I, we had no idea of any college soccer. We didn't, even coming here, we didn't know BYU was top 25 every single year. We had no idea. We just committed here, went for soccer. It pays for our education. So we're like, okay, we're going to go here. Tom Homo and the whole athletic department really takes care of us student athletes and really puts us all out there and on every platform. And so people know who BYU soccer is. And so I think the whole experience was just really cool for me to take in.
You guys mentioned you were active in the church growing up, and then that you felt more of a minority when coming here versus, Juan Diego. Was there a bit of a culture shock at all when you first got here, even though you grew up in Utah?
Yes, definitely a culture shock. Because at Juan Diego, you're wearing the same uniforms, and then outside of Juan Diego, you're wearing these shorts and tank tops and stuff. And then you come here, and I'm like, whoa, like I actually have to dress up. Like,
yeah, no uniforms.
Yeah.
You have to pick your own outfits.
But yeah, we've adjusted to it,
Yeah.
and it's now just a norm now.
Well, I love it so much that you guys are here. And Daviana, you redshirted your first year here. Why did you make that choice to redshirt?
I didn't really have a choice. It was our coaches at the time. So I was coming in freshman year, and there was really good forwards at the time. I think it was Elise Flake and Cameron Tucker. And so they decided to redshirt me. They're like, I don't think we really need you this season. Like, we want to save you for the next seasons to come. And it was really hard for me. Like, you cry about it because no one expects to come and be a redshirt and sit on the bench the entire season. But after it, I was really thankful about it. I was able to learn from those two forwards one of them's actually professional now. I was able to learn from them and then really develop that year. And so I was really excited.
I love that. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll chat with Daviana and Laveni's international playing time with the Tongan national team. This is Her Why. Welcome back. We're continuing with Laveni and Daviana Vaka from the BYU women's soccer team. Daviana, before the two of you even arrived at BYU, you were playing internationally on Tonga's senior squad. How did that all come about?
I remember, so Laveni and I had been kind of wanting to mainly focus on playing for the U.S. And then about our senior year, like, the Tongan national team reached out to our mom, emailed her, and was, like, asking about us and if we're fully Tongan, like, could we play for them? And so then our mom brought it up to us, and we're like, oh, like, we've never really considered that, but that would be awesome. And so we went to New Caledonia for the Women's Nations Cup to qualify for the World Cup, and it was our first time going for the senior national team. So we were really young, but at the same time, we brought experience from the U.S. to all those overseas players. And playing on the national team, it was really cool. We were able to win a game while we were there, but it was a cool experience playing with the women's. It was a new level for us.
Yeah, and this was in Fiji.
Okay.
So the New Caledonia
She was
was
saying the first time, though.
Senior year of high school.
Okay.
Yeah, and then this past trip was in Fiji, playing with the senior women's team, and that was again to qualify for the World Cup. So this is like 4 years later. Yeah, we originally didn't know if we were gonna go out there, and so we decided like last 2 weeks we were like, okay, we're gonna come out, because we were in debate. We're like, is it worth it? Is it worth, we just had this great season with BYU. We want to keep building on that. Are we gonna be able to like develop with the team if we're out there? You know what I mean? But we ended up going out there, having a lot of fun, and like Daviana said, bringing that experience to the Tongan team, because they have a different type of playing style. Yeah, and which is super direct. And here at BYU, we like to keep possession, and so that's kind of what we brought to the table. And Daviana actually ended up scoring her first international goal.
Oh my gosh!
Against
Off an assist from Lava.
Papua New Guinea. Yep, who ended up winning the tournament, which we lost to in PKs. So that was unfortunate. But
so you were right there with them. What was that like, scoring your very first goal?
Oh, it was so fun. I scored from like,
I don't even know, like
45 yards out off an assist from Laveni, but it was amazing.
Oh, that's so
it
cool.
was. I think it gave us the lead 1-0, and so that was my first international goal, which was awesome. So I'll never forget that.
So were you guys, what were you, like 16, 17 the first time you played?
Yeah, we were
17,
like
18.
17.
Yeah.
And were you guys playing against adults? Like,
yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
crazy. There was actually some girls that we recognized that played for New Caledonia our first time around, which was in like 2018, I think.
2018.
And when we just recently went back out, they're still playing on the team, and they're like, oh my gosh, like we recognize you too. And we're like, oh, we recognize you. And
such
they're like,
babies at
yeah,
that
they're like
time.
30s now. Some had kids, and so
Oh
it's
my
pretty
gosh.
cool.
That's so cool. Were
Yeah.
you ever intimidated stepping on the field with those players, or were you just like, let's do this?
No, we're just
No.
like, let's do this.
For some reason, I had more confidence out there than at BYU. I
Wow.
was like able to like go out there and just take on people.
Yeah, because these OFC Cup, like all the islands aren't quite up to date where America is with soccer. And so in that sense, we're like, okay, we know we can do like a lot more things out here than we could in America.
And you're probably like, I'm 17 years old. I got nothing to lose. Let's do this, you know? Yeah. We're coming to BYU. You're like highly recruited. There's a lot of eyes on you. Do you feel like that's kind of one of the differences?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And everyone's just as good as you out here.
If not better, yeah.
So what made you guys make that decision to play? Let's start with Laveni.
So my worry was that I was trying to get into like the U.S. pool, especially coming off this good season we had and like my breakout year. I went to Jen and I was like, Jen, like, is it worth it for me to go out there? Do you think, like, just be honest with me, can I be into this U.S. pool? And she's like, I think you can. Like, I'm definitely going to make that, like, the U20 coach aware of you. And I was like, okay. And we were just worried about, like, if I go out there, I'm not going to be able to play with the U.S. because then I'm already, once you make your first cap with that national team, then you're locked into that team kind of situation.
Wow.
And so she told me that, and I was like, okay, but I guess you could appeal it if you wanted to. And I was like, okay, then I'm just going to go to play for a Tongan team, and then if the U.S. team decides, you know, like they want me, then I can appeal it if I want to.
What about for you, Daviana?
I think just the main reason for why I really wanted to go out there was to inspire our community. Our mom kind of had to convince us more than anything than for us to go, just because she was like, just think about it. Like, there's little kids in Tonga who are wanting to play soccer. Like, they need to know that soccer can take you anywhere, and it literally can. Like, we went all the way to Fiji and to New Caledonia to play, and so for me, it was showing other kids that soccer can bring you out of poverty, I guess, and bring you out of those places. And so that was really why I wanted to go.
Have you had any cool experiences with that while playing internationally where you've seen little kids watch you play and been able to interact with them?
Oh, yeah. Especially in Fiji, all the kids were all over Laveni and I, especially because they thought it was cool. We were from America. Just
the fan base is just like overseas fans are just crazy about soccer. And once like we were out in Fiji, all these Fijian fans, just like little girls in general, just came and like asking us for signatures, like, and like my Facebook was like blown up with all these like Facebook requests from all these like fans, and it's just been pretty cool. And like a lot of them have messaged us about like how well we played and like that we're an inspiration to them in that way. So it's pretty cool.
That's cool. Did any of your family go with you? Did your mom get to go?
Yeah, my mom did. My mom was there for 2.5 weeks with us. So.
She loved it. She was just on vacation mode the entire time.
She's like, I'm going to be over here at the beach while you guys are practicing.
Yeah, she was super happy to come out there with us and super proud.
Oh, I bet. I can't even imagine as a mother being able to watch her two daughters play on a national team together. How much practice did you guys get with the team before you played your first match?
Literally one. We got there and practiced that day, and then the game was the next day.
Yep. And
I actually had to miss that game because I got a red card 4 years ago.
With the team
in New Caledonia, so I couldn't play in the first match in
Really?
Fiji. Yes. It was insane.
What?
I was
because
a little
of a red
girl
card
at that
4
time.
years ago, you had to miss the first
because it was
match.
my next game with them. Was 4 years later, yeah.
I know, like they were holding on to that grudge.
They were waiting for me to come so they could say that. Yeah.
So, man, okay, so you guys played in 3 matches. You lost to Samoa 2-0 on the first day. Mm-hmm. You tied the Cook Islands 1-1. Mm-hmm. Then you lost to Papua New Guinea in the quarterfinals, and that's where you scored your first goal. Is that right?
Yeah.
So we've seen the video. Describe exactly what happened on that goal.
I believe there was lava, cleared a ball. There was a lot of people. Oh, was it a throw-in?
Yeah,
someone threw it into you, and then you kicked it up. And then I knew there was someone on my back, I think, and so I received it kind of going, like touching around her, and I remember just turning and looking at the goalkeeper and just shooting. and then I remember it came off my foot, like in that moment I was like, wait, like, you know that feeling when that ball hits off your foot perfectly? It's just such a good strike. And I was like, I was not meaning to do that, but the feeling was there though, and I was like, and then it went in. I was like, oh my gosh.
You're like, I was not meaning to do this. This is great. What was that feeling like? What did you feel when you saw it go in the back of the net?
Oh gosh, I don't know. What did I celebrate really hard?
No, I was gonna say you had like a calm reaction. She just like turns around and runs back, and we're like, yeah, because it was like the first goal, and we came in as underdogs that game, and so when we scored the first 2 goals in that half, we were like, whoa. Like, we could do this.
Daviana, you got to act like you've been there before, right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, this is nothing new.
And that was literally my first time playing forward after like 3 years because I played defense here.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. And Laveni, you were named the player of that match.
Yeah.
Is that right? What was that like for you?
It was humbling, and I just felt honored for that game. She was like looking at me because they told me, they said, we had a hard time choosing between you and your sister on who to give this award to. I'm like, thank goodness you picked me. I'm like, she can have the goal, but hey.
You both walked away with something great from that game.
Yeah, that game was a really good game for both of us, and I was happy for my sister that she was able to get that goal, and I was happy to get player of the match, and just being able to represent Tonga was just a great experience.
Laveni, what do you take away from your time in Fiji, looking back?
Just being a leader, coming out there, you know, since they don't know as much knowledge as we do about soccer, going out there and just helping the girls be more knowledgeable, like as far as like positioning wise and just communicating to them. So definitely I feel like since coming back from Fiji is just being that leader for the team here, and helping us just rebuild the team and finding our own identity and just figuring things out together as a team and just communicating with each other here.
Daviana, do you have anything to add to that?
I would say leadership as well, but I think taking away from that is our experiences and our friendship with the team. Since we were there for so long, we were able to develop really deep connections that we never really had the first time we were there. And so by the time we left, like our coaches were crying, which is, you know, that doesn't really happen. Coaches don't really show that to their players, but it was really sad for us to leave after 2.5 weeks. So take away the friendships.
What an incredible experience. Do you guys ever joke
sure.
with any of your teammates here at BYU, like, we've played internationally. Like, we know more than you guys. Do you ever joke with them about it?
No. There has been one point where I'm like, I'm an overseas player, girl. I don't know who you are, but I'm overseas.
And they're like, Could your current team now beat some of the national teams? Do you think BYU's team right now could beat any of those teams that you played?
Yes, we definitely could win the tournament.
Yeah.
Really?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think the overseas teams, though, they're all so aggressive. And I don't know if some of that aggressiveness would get away in America. But if we were to go there, like, I think we'd get, like,
just
dogged on.
Like, as far as, like, aggressiveness.
And speed and endurance. Like, they can run so fast and so long over there.
But possession-wise, like, our team is definitely better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, 100% we could win the tournament over there.
Wow. That's really crazy. Laveni, in an Instagram post in 2021, you said last year was tough on you and that you were going through the motions. What's changed since then?
My mindset, definitely. I've met with Maddie Sidaway-Gates, who was a former player at BYU, and she does our mental strength, and that has been a huge game changer for me, is just doing mental strength to help me become high-performing. And that just, like, really changed my mindset. Before that, it was just kind of like my teammate, like Kayla Colahan actually told my sister this. She was just like Lava just kind of seems like she just goes through the motions. Like, it seems like it sucks. Because she used to live at the bottom 4 of us, and I always used to be in my room, and Davi used to go and visit her all the time downstairs. And I was doing the same things, like, over and over, where it just felt like I didn't really I felt like I didn't have a purpose in my life almost. And so when I started meeting with Sid, that kind of, like, gave me some motivation to, like, get up, do something that I want to do in the mornings, and, like, fix my bed. Now I fix my bed every day. That's something I have to do. Just doing mental strength has changed my mindset, like, completely. Anything I put my mind to, I can do. I like to say, because I do, like, I work on my mental strength off the field, like, you're going to see the best version of me on the field. And that is what I've been doing lately. So.
Thanks for sharing that. I mean, that's hard to share. And you mentioned you struggle with performance anxiety during Mental Health Awareness Month. How did that anxiety affect you when you were on the field?
So I had these 2 ankle injuries, which is a whole part of, like, you know, my mental health issue. So that put me just, like, at a really low point. And so I didn't have the confidence when I was coming back from it. And so I started, like, receiving this performance anxiety. And I told Sid, I was like, it's gotten so bad where it's like, I do not even want to step on the field. Like, I'm almost tearing up about it, because it's just like, I don't really want anyone to have to go through these type of things. I was just like, I don't
Like, I just don't ever want to even touch the ball, Sid. Like, sorry, I was just like, I just, didn't even want to show up to practices. I was just to the point where I didn't feel good about myself until if practice was over. I was like, okay, thank goodness, like I can just go home type thing. And I told Sid that, and she's like, okay, well, she was like, okay. Basically, she was like, I'm going to pass you on to Craig Manning.
She can handle
the main
your problem.
guy.
This is above my pay grade.
Yeah. I was like, your issues are deeper than I can handle right now. And so that like performance anxiety just gave me, like I just felt panicked and rushed on the ball. And I was just giving turnovers over. And so when I just talked to Sid, just coming up with like a 3-1, which is just 3 goals to help me on the field, just focusing on those 3 goals. And then the 1 would be just like something that I could work on, because if you just focus on your mistakes, that's just going to lead you in the past. And if you focus on the present and your strengths, you can build on those strengths. And so that's kind of where we went. And now I don't have that anymore, and I'm thankful for that. But yeah, so
I think it's so important that you're sharing these things, because you said you mentioned that you don't want anybody else to have to feel that, but the reality is there are people that feel that, and that's incredible coming from somebody like you that's honest about it, and that can help these people take those steps. So you mentioned you met with Craig Manning, and how else have you improved your mental health in 2022?
Just taking time for myself. Like my sister said, like I've been independent for like these past few months, just going out. I'm a big fan of treat yourself. You pass the fitness test, treat yourself, girl. Go buy yourself a crumble cookie. So I'm just like reading into books right now, definitely going on walks, shopping to help just like get my mind off soccer and school, journaling, writing about how I feel.
Does it help having Daviana as a roommate?
Yeah, we ask each other what our cues and stuff are.
Yeah, like as
games.
far as like performance-wise, we just ask each other what's your goal for this game, so that we can help each other achieve those goals.
And it's got to be nice that, she knows you better than probably anybody in the world. You don't have to put on a face or a front for her. She just, she's just there. You could be who you are. And I love that. So I know, Laveni, you mentioned that you want to play professional soccer. Is that a goal of yours too, Daviana?
Yes. I originally wanted to go play overseas. Or I guess I still want to. After having Kayla Coulihan and Cameron Tucker in the professional setting, like, I think they've kind of made me realize I don't want to play in the States. So, yeah, I do want to play professionally overseas.
Laveni, what's been your favorite part about being at BYU so far?
Definitely Cougar Nation. I love just how much they support our team, and whether you're a member or not, they're still going to support you. I've met some great fans just from games who come like every game, like make an 1.5-hour drive. Like there's this family that comes from Logan to every game and always stops by and make sure they say hi to us. And I absolutely like love Cougar Nation. Like so thankful for them. That has been like a really huge blessing of coming to BYU. It's just the amount of support that we receive from them.
So cool. What about for you, Daviana?
Besides Cougar Nation, I would say the College Cup, that whole thing the whole tournament, building up to it. It was a cool experience. Hopefully that it's not just once in a lifetime. Hopefully we can go back there. But I think that's been the best part of being here at BYU, was going into the tournament, into the championship game.
Okay, you mentioned the College Cup. What's been your favorite soccer memory so far here? Has there been a specific moment?
I don't know. I guess I would have to say whenever I'm playing on the back line with Lava is like the coolest thing for me. I just think it's super cool to play with my sister on the back line and just connecting passes. Playing outside back is different. Like when I'm on center back, I just feel way better. We're just playing right next to each other and we're on that same level. So I would say playing on the back line with you is the coolest soccer experience for me.
What about for you, Laveni?
My favorite specific memory would be playing at Virginia, beating Virginia as a #1 seed. Specifically this one part of the game, like towards the end, we had just built, like, I had lost the ball. Jamie Shepard covered me. She played back to Cass played back to her, and I was sitting in like this perfect gap. So she hit me, and then I went back to Grace Johnson, and then Grace Johnson hit Kayla, and then went to Cam, and then we got another shot off. So it was like within like those 30 seconds, it was just a quick transition. So that was my favorite. And then after the game, we were just so excited. And I remember I was like, I'm crying tears of joy right now just because I know how hard we worked for this.
And I remember looking at Jen, I'm like, yes. And Jen was just like giving out hugs. And that was just a great memory.
Such an incredible season last year, and you guys are off to a good start so far. I'm talking to Laveni and Daviana Vaka, sisters and teammates for the BYU women's soccer team. Thank you so much for taking the time with me today. You guys are incredible, and I can't wait to continue watching you play.
Thank you so much.
You can download and listen to all episodes of Her Why on the BYU Radio app or wherever you find podcasts. Her Why is a production of BYU Radio.